Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. It's almost July 4th. Only 2 weeks out, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And where are you guys listening in? I'm always kind of curious to see where you guys are listening in. I see some familiar faces. I see some student names. I um, I see. Hey, what's up, Rogers? I see some people from PAC. Awesome, awesome. And so, obviously, in the World Cup spirit, if you guys are into soccer at all, obviously, besides rooting for the US, if you have a secondary team, put in the chat. I'm always curious to see if you're following the World Cup. And if you're on any kind of social media, I'm not sure how you're not following the World Cup right now. It's been pretty crazy what's happened here in South Florida. We're seeing a ton of people roll in. And one of the things that's been interesting watching the fans from Scotland have been pretty nuts. They seem like a pretty fun bunch. If you haven't checked it out, you got to check them out. They were at the Marlins game yesterday. And I think the stadium was sold out actually. So singing, all the above. So go ahead and put in a chat if you have a secondary team besides the US national soccer team. Just want to make sure. Okay, some of you guys, Palm Beach, Boynton Beach. Okay. Miami. Awesome. I see. Yeah, hey Sonia. I'm putting in chat. Well, if you don't like soccer in general, let me know. If you guys aren't soccer fans. Good morning. Yep. Good morning. Welcome. Yeah, some of you guys, yeah, some not so much. David, get it? Yeah, the frenzy's a little out of control. Hey, Patrice, I see some of our students on here. And so I'm just going to start rolling into our announcements today. The event that we're doing today is our first offer formula and how new investors make smart offers without guessing. So I am going to be teaching this right now. So, Son, you're watching WNBA. Okay, got it, got it. Yeah, a lot of great sports are happening in general. So one of the first things also is that I am raffling a membership. So go ahead and text the word membership to 954-800-6961, 954-800-6961. Text the word membership, and one lucky winner will get a free membership. And if you're already a member, we'll go ahead and extend your membership. So go ahead and text again membership. Also, if you want to keep track with our events coming up, just go ahead and text the word BPM RIA to the 954-800-6961. You guys have seen I've been doing a lot of webinars. This past Saturday, we did an in-person event also. July 8th, that is coming up, is our in-person quarterly event. So you're not going to want to miss that. We're going to have our vendor partners. I'm going to be teaching again. It's going to be a really great event. I got some snacks or a cash bar, all the above. Then you guys, what I tell you guys, as you're building your business, you're going to want to build your power team. So you're going to see a lot of great vendors out there. Also, we do have on July 11th, we are doing an in-person event. It is a paid event with our contractor, Carl Shieldy. At the event, it's going to be about rehabbing, what to look for, the pitfalls, all the above. We're still trying to secure a location. So what I mean by that is it'll be at Nova University in a classroom, and I'm trying to get a property that's close by Nova University so we can actually walk the property. So for that event, it is $149 for members, $199 for non-members. So again, text the word BPM RIA to keep up with events. Also, our 2-day quick start is coming up. It is August 1st and 2nd. Cameras on. I know some of you guys already have signed up for our quick 2-day quick start. Some of you guys have been to the quick start. So all the above, it is 2 full days of how to find off-market deals. Also, we're going to have 4 great speakers. Call Sheely again for about an hour, the basics of rehabbing. Francisco Mago, the founder of Refax, the software we use. He's going to be on. Kevin Thatcher, the Title King, our go-to guy when it comes to title, assignments of contracts. So he'll be on also. And Jose Ramirez is going to talk about how to set up the right corporation. Also, whether it should be an LLC, a little bit about cost segregation and the do and do nots or the do or don'ts, I should say, of what you should do when you set up your company on the wholesaling and rehabbing business. We're going to talk about self-directed IRAs. I'm going to talk about how we're using AI, and we're also going to talk about creative financing. It's going to be 2 full action-packed days. It's limited seats and it's cameras on, guys. It's via Zoom, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. I have a 100% money back guarantee, guys. So you're going to want to come to the event without a doubt. Last few of them, we've been sold out too. So again, you're going to love it. Also, we do have our BPM membership. If you are a corporate vendor or you have a corporate business, and what I mean by that, maybe you have a flooring company, a hard money lender, or title company, or anything in the real estate side, we have our corporate membership. It's $595 for the year. It also allows you to do a 30-second in front of our group at the quarterly meetings. Included in with that is you do get all the benefits from National RIA. Also, you have the opportunity to rent a table at our quarterly meetings. Again, that's $595 for the year. If you are an individual, right, you don't have a company, what I would tell you is our individual membership. Again, you're starting to see member pricing for different events. So it's going to save you money in the long run. You get to come to the quarterly meetings for free. It's included in there. And more importantly, you get discounts at Home Depot, 20% off paint right on the spot, 2% rebate. Camel Plan is giving up to $700 in bonuses. Rent Perfect, phenomenal tenant screening. You as the landlord only pay $1. There's about 15 new benefits. We have a new cabinet company, Avis Rent-A-Car, Constant Contact. What I can tell you is if you're using the benefits, your membership should be free, right? So again, thanks Vina putting up a poll. Thanks for answering. You could go directly to our website to get a membership, and Vina will also, or she already did that. You could also go to the chat, and she's already put a link for you to become a member. And last but not least, we have our one-on-one mentoring program where I put up 100% of the money for the deals. We go 50-50. We only take 6 students per month. We've already have 4 students for this month, so we only have 2 more slots for our one-on-one mentoring for June. Again, we go 50-50 on the deals. I put up all the money. The cool thing is we're going to show you how to walk those off-market properties or find those off-market properties, and it's always a win-win. So, and last but not least, we do have third-party funding, and what I mean by that is whether you need money for our mentoring. So some people are using this third-party funding through Pathway Financial, where they are offering 0% interest. Of course, there are some fees on there. It's a soft credit pull. And if it's not for funding for our mentoring, you could still get business funding also. So some of you guys might be doing other projects and you need your own cash. Go ahead and take out your phone. It's a soft credit pull. They'll let you know within 24 hours what you're pre-approved for, and you get your money pretty quick. So a lot of people are again using it for our coaching program, or they're just making sure that they have funds for their own deals, guys. So again, they've been a great partner for BPM RIA. We've added them as a corporate vendor partner about a year ago, and we love these guys at Pathway Financial. And last but not least, we always want to thank all our sponsors at BPM RIA, National RIA, for everything that they do. You guys, National RIA, have been fantastic. I actually see some of our vendors are on this call, so we love you guys. We love you, Carl Shiley, Piers Remodeling, Jose Ramirez, Kevin Thatcher. Awesome. It's great seeing you guys on the webinar also. So let's get started. So let me put up our PowerPoint here. Okay, so let me make sure. Give me 1 second as whoop, let's see, get everything working here. Okay, so hopefully you do see my screen. And so who the heck am I and why should you listen to me, right? So I do see some familiar names. I see some new names today also. My name's Anish Dave, founder of BPM RIA, formerly known as BRIA, the Broward Real Estate Investors Association. I'm also president of National RIA. What does that mean for you guys? I represent over 40,000 real estate investors nationally, 120 chapters and affiliates. I'm also a licensed real estate agent since 2004. I'm a licensed mortgage guy since, gosh, I've been in the mortgage business since 2001. I've done well over $250 million in transactions. I've been in real estate for 25 plus years. My background, I grew up in New Jersey, and I went to Rutgers Engineering School. And I realized I didn't want to be an engineer, and I did not want to be in the cold, guys. So I transferred down, went to school at USF in Tampa, got my finance degree, worked in banking for a long time. I thought I was going to be a banker until I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. How many of you guys have read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Put in the chat. I'm always kind of curious if you guys have read Rich Dad Poor Dad. And if you haven't, highly recommend it, guys. So one of the things when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I realized that my dad was poor dad and I was on the path of being poor dad. What does that mean? I was working for corporate America. My dad, as a financial analyst, worked for the same company for 35 plus years. My mom was an accountant. And I said, wow, I'm going to be on the same path. I got to do something. I'm not going to be rich working for somebody else. As I was working in banking, the banks kept consolidating. And before you know it, I was, uh, what's the nicest way was that I was too expensive to work with them, right? So I had to keep starting over and starting over. Got my mortgage license back then, started building a pretty big mortgage company, started doing really well. And I said, I got to start buying property. And I started buying properties. I bought stuff on South Beach, Brickell, North Miami, Little Haiti, Tampa. I thought I was well diversified. And so if you invested back then, right, what I'm talking about is 2001 to 2006 and a half, maybe 2007, you were a phenomenal real estate investor. So put in the chat, what happened in 2008? Or from 2008 to 2010? I do see some old timers here, right? And I see some newbies that were too young to be in real estate. And so I literally went from making millions. I was up to 28 properties, crushing it, living on the Venetian Causeway in South Beach. Had a Range Rover. It's expensive to run me. And I kind of joke about this, and it's true. I said, please God, let me be done. Meaning let me be done working, right? I wanted to be done and retire, I thought. And lo and behold, the world had a different plan, meaning it was the Great Recession in 2008. So I literally went from millions of dollars to losing everything. Filed bankruptcy February 10, 2010. And what happened, right? Like the question people always ask me is, so I kept buying real estate and I thought I was diversified and there was all this equity, right? The equity went through the roof. And I said, okay, I got over millions of a few million dollars, right? 3, 4 millions dollars, and I must be doing, really well. market crashes, and I was a buy and hold guy and a rehabber. The challenge was the properties weren't cash flowing. And you're going to say to yourself, well, that doesn't make any sense. The values went through the roof, right? So back then, you could actually do 100% financing, cash out refis or purchases on investment properties based on credit score. And so I went for millions, right? Kept taking on the money, kept buying more property, right? And I thought I was diversified. I thought hey, worst come to worst, I'll just sell something if I need the cash. Lo and behold, right, the market crashes, the mortgage company shuts down. And if you're during that time, it didn't all happen in one day, right? So this was starting to happen over a few months. Washington Mutual closed down, Countrywide closed down, right? First Bank of Arizona. Every day it felt like there was another bank closing. And lo and behold, I said, I got to figure out something else, right? I didn't want to go back to corporate America. I I heard about some events, some free events. I went to the events and they talked about wholesaling. So I've never heard of wholesaling. You got to remember 2008, social media was different. YouTube was relatively new. I actually never heard what a RIA was, or a Real Estate Investor Association. And what happened was I went to this class and I was like, wow, you could actually control property. And by just having it under contract, you don't have to own it. And my motto before was if I'm going to fix and flip it, or am I going to keep it? And if it was too much work, I didn't want to do the deal. I had no idea about wholesaling. So I started learning this course, right? And great information. So I'm not going to knock the information. The challenge was they're based out of Utah. And they had a program that was $50,000 back then, 2008, 2009. And in today's inflationary numbers, that's about 75 grand. And I didn't have $50,000. How many of you guys can relate to me so far, right? Didn't have the 50,000. I had 25,000, and magically they had a $25,000 program. I did their program. The challenge was I had to fly out to Phoenix for their events, cost me money. That was extra money. Houston, Utah. And before you know it, I was in it for 50,000. The good end of it, they said, go to your local real estate investor association. And that's how I found Bria. The bad end of it was that my mentor was in Utah. They did not know South Florida market. They did not know east of 95 or west of 95, or I should say north or south, right, of 75. So they had no idea what our market's like. For the $75,000, I was allowed 2 emails a week and one phone call every 2 weeks. What I'm going to tell you guys is that is not enough support when you're actually doing this business. So how many guys have been in a national program? Put in a chat. That's okay. So I always joke about it. I'm a national program survivor, right? It got me to BRIA. And my parents said, "Hey, you tried it your way. Go back to corporate America." What I did also leave out was my parents invested with me, and unfortunately, I lost that in the crack. Lost their home, right? Investing in your kids. So if you have kids and you want the best for them, hey, let's do this. And there was nothing more worse than losing my money and their money. So again, I did the national program. I went to BRIA, and what I liked about BRIA back then, Bill and Chan Leon, I knew there was something about wholesaling, creative financing. I just needed a local mentor. So as a good Indian son, what did I do? Didn't go back to corporate America. I took my last bit of money, did BRIA's old program where they did not put up the money for the deals and stuff on my cousin's couch. Fast forward, I was a top student, bought the companies from my mentors, changed the name about 5 years ago from BRIA to BPM RIA. So that's my story. And so for the people that got crushed, back then, if you're in real estate investing, I know a lot of people got crushed, almost everyone did, and they're out of the business, right? So if I could do it, you could do it, is the point of the story. Our team, so we do have three sets of mentors, Harry and Victoria Diamond. You've probably seen Harry in some of the webinars. Michael and Maddie Johnson, Denise and Lucian, our mentors. They were all former students. We all did national programs, all different ones. And I think the minimum was 25,000 was spent to, I think I was the top bill spending over 50,000. Combined, we did 0 deals, guys. That's true, 0 deals. And the funny part is we all do this full time now, right? So having a local mentor makes a big difference. Also, Alexa Para, our COO, is still on maternity leave. She should be back in the group with BPM Ria, I'd say. I think they were saying, I think she'll be back in about a month. So we're excited to have Alexa back. She had a beautiful baby girl. And so that is one of our teammates. And also Vina, who is our executive assistant, is on this webinar and she's handling all the things with the office while Alexa is gone, right? And so after I lost everything, I said, you know what? I need to change my life, right? So I've been married for almost 15 years. My wife is Colombian. We like traveling. We've been lucky to travel around the world. I do live in downtown Las Olas. And the way I got back into everything was, again, through wholesaling and rehabbing and rebuilt myself, right? So we talk about, are you living your best life? One of the other things that some of you guys have been at our quarterly meetings, you might see my dad pop in. He's 87 years old. We get to go to baseball games, basketball games, get to spend a lot more time. We've been on the National Rio Cruise, and it's this business is what really got us through. So put in the chat while I'm still talking is, why do you want to be a real estate investor? What's your passion? Put one or two words of why you want to be an investor, right? So let's take a look, right? So the other thing is that I've also worked with the Miami Dolphins. I'm their expert on the wholesaling and rehabbing. What I love about the Dolphins is Stephen Ross is a real estate guy, and he's teaching these young men what to do outside of football. I am also the expert with PAC, the professional athletic community. They're up to well over 2,500 members. 11 major sports, which I love, and they're hoping to get to up to 5,000 members. I'm actually working with them to come up with a course for PAC, so I'm really excited. So for me, as a sports fan, it's really pretty cool to see these young men and women. I call them young because they're definitely younger than me, and they're the 0.001% in their fields, and they're scared to make offers, just like I was in the beginning. So it doesn't matter where your background is. When it's new, and that's what happens, right? So I do see some of you guys. Okay, yeah, you guys are interested in family wealth. I love it, Nina. Generational wealth, freedom. What Gigi? What kind of freedom? Right? Debt free. Yep, I love it. Liquid assets. I know you, Patrice. You're already a lender, so I love what you're doing already. And then also we have our BPM student community. We do some pretty cool stuff from barbecues. We did a couple happy hours. Some of you guys were actually at our happy hour sponsored by Lending One this past week, so that was pretty cool. The National Rio Cruise is always fun. This was our Alaskan cruise. They do that usually every 4 years. Our National Rio Cruise out of Miami is February 20th to the 27th. Highly recommend it. And what I mean by that, it's going to be about 100 real estate investors from around the country. Last year sold out also. The C days are educational days. I learned about self-directed IRAs there. It's pretty awesome. And we have a ton of fun. So February 20th to 27th, you learn a ton. Highly recommend it. Again, if you want to be a real estate investor and meet other people investing around the country. Also, I was fortunate to be meet Grant Cardone. Whether you like him or not, in general, it was funny. His social media was a little too much for me, and then I got to meet the guy. And what I really like about him is that his passion is to help young kids learn real estate investing. I got to spend an hour with him in the green room. And what cracks me up is, Grant's like, I charge $100,000 to be to talk or do a one-on-one. And so here I am in the room with him doing the one-on-one for $100,000. So it's pretty cool to hear what he sees from a bird's eye view, especially the multifamily space. And then also, I was the first guest on Money Chat, the show. It's a national show on ABC as the housing expert. And before we get started, I'm just going to play a quick little video because I know some of you guys are new at what we've been up to, and then we'll get started with our event today too. So.
This is one of the best programs I've been a part of. The support is outstanding.
I encourage you to join this association. Your life will be changed.
Anish and everybody that was part of the BPM RIA they were just wonderful. They got very knowledgeable. They were helpful. They were patient, kind, very good teachers, very organized. Everything was just it was a great quick start seminar.
Never mind. Wait for me to
BPM RIA, Anish and the team, they are amazing. I have been a corporate member of the BPM RIA, formerly known as BRIA, for probably almost 15 years. And being part of an organization like that is just amazing when you get to see the people's lives that they're changing.
Hey, what's up? This is Avery Moss, former New York Giant, former Miami Dolphin. Recently, I got to finish up this PAC event where it was a group of professional retired athletes that got together and we're trying to figure out the next chapter of our life. Just hearing them talk, going through everything, like instantly, I was inspired by the guy. It was like a light bulb clicked above my head like a cartoon. And thanks to Anish Dave, I can say furthermore, I'm going to go through this process and get into real estate, stop messing around and actually do it, because I feel confident now of knowing what I want to do after meeting him and getting a base knowledge and seeing how things are.
Position. Grab the seat of the chair. The seat.
There you go.
Put your knee on the corners if you want to. All right. You go straight to the floor, not at an angle, straight up and down. From the ceiling straight to the floor. Touch it once.
You're gonna destroy that shit, dude.
Touch it a third time. Explode!
And I have to say they're an exceptional bunch of people to work with. How to use a technique, creative financing, how to get rid of liens. Don't hesitate to join, work with them. They will definitely help you get through the roughest times.
They put up all the money for the deals. They're there with you, make sure all the paperwork is right. You know, they're not going to leave you alone on this. And yeah, I recommend this.
BPM RIA program, it's definitely changed our lives. They funded our deals.
Hey, can't go wrong with other people's money.
Exactly. You know, they funded our deals. They got us into real estate. They held our hand the whole way through, and just really, the most amazing thing is we literally have these guys to. It's nothing for us to pick up the phone and call Anish and be like, "Hey, look, we got this deal. What do we do?"
They're not going to let your deal fall through.
So that's some of the things that we've been up to in 2025. And so the question becomes, right, Why are smart, motivated investors stay stuck despite years of education, right? You've been watching all those YouTube videos, you've been taking classes, you've been taking free classes, and it's just not enough, right? So, what are some of the reasons that have stopped you? Put in the chat. So for the next hour, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how we make these offers is number one. I'm going to talk about our 2-day quick start. I'm going to show you some deals with our students. I'm going to tell you why you're going to want to invest in BPM RIA and yourself and in our mentoring program. So in the chat, again, I like to make this interactive as much as possible. If you guys have questions, just put them in the Q&A. The chat moves a little too fast for me to keep up if you have questions in there. Again, I always like the feedback. It's always funny just to talk to a camera. And again, this is about you guys. So how many of you guys need to make more money in 2026? Put in the chat. Yeah, buddy. Just want to make sure you're at the right spot. Right? Put in the chat. And if you don't put anything in the chat, then I'm always a little worried. I'm curious what you guys are doing. How many of you guys think being a real estate investor can give you freedom, generational wealth? Put in the chat. Give me a yeah, buddy. Only a couple of you guys. All right. All right. And again, if you're driving, I know some of you guys are driving, keep both hands on the wheel. You guys are excused, right? And then lastly, how many of you guys realize that you have to invest in yourself? And if you don't invest in yourself, it's going to cost you money. Give me a yeah, buddy. Yeah, Patrice, yeah. Absolutely. Okay, Tony, Nina, okay, yeah, all right. Just making sure. So most investors, right, they get stuck because of what? There's too many numbers. Is that you guys? There's too many numbers. I don't understand it. You're old school. I'm looking at all these spreadsheets. I'm doing the formulas long. I hate Excel. Is that you guys? Right? One of my favorites, fear of making a mistake. When I say favorites, this is the one that stopped me the most. Besides, and I'll tie into fear of making mistakes, analysis paralysis, right? And then you're overthinking every deal, right? Is it a deal? Is it not a deal? Is it a deal? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm not really sure. This is what I feel. And when people say they feel something, especially when it comes to real estate investing, the numbers don't lie, right? So again, it's not what you feel. I feel like the market's really good. I feel like the market's too competitive, right? There's real data out there. I always tell everyone, stop with your feelings, guys. Again, real estate investing is just math. So a lot of us, we're in preparation mode. How many of you guys are always in preparation mode? If I only knew this, I'd be able to do a deal. Put in the chat. If I only knew what, I'd be able to do a deal. Is it money? Right? If I only had money. Right? Is that you? If I only knew how to analyze a property. Or is it one of those that I just don't have a power team? If I only had a power team, if I only had a contractor like Carl Shealy to go with me with the houses, right? If I only knew how to raise my own money. So whenever we're in preparation mode, the irony is we tell our mind, right? This is all in your head, is we call progress. Well, I went to this workshop, right? And what you guys will realize after the 2-day quick start, where you come into our in-person events and it's a full-day workshop, like for example, for Carl Shealy, what you're going to realize we're all about getting you to take action afterwards. We got to get you out of preparation mode, right? You're ready now. So a couple things, right? Most investors fail, right? They don't have the money or capital, right? The fear of making mistakes. There's no step-by-step. If they only showed me what to do, right? I'm really good at learning if they just tell me what to do. And then they're hoping for the perfect prediction. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll just wait for the perfect time when rates go lower. So I always like, with the RIA end of it, I get to meet some old timers, right? They've been investing since the 70s, 80s, And, for the newer people, right, we got a little bit spoiled at what happened in 2020 when it came to interest rates, right? 2 or 3%. What they were telling, which I thought was pretty amazing, is like we're doing deals of 18 to 20%, right? So again, those are just numbers. And we're again looking for short term. So if the numbers didn't make any sense, they would have never done any deals. So don't wait for the prediction that I'm going to wait until interest rates go down, right? I get that one all the time, right? So out of the four, which one sounds like you? Or put something else in the chat. If it's not any of these four, which one's the one that really hinders you? I'm always curious, right? So most investors, we overcomplicate, right? And when I say that, if the numbers aren't perfect, we don't do the deal. Okay, David, you got funding. What about the rest of you guys? What were some of the other out of the four? Right, I'm just curious. Step by step, fear of making, or is it something else? Right? If they miss something, they'll lose money, right? If I don't really know the numbers, they may lose money, right? More analysis equals safer decision. Experienced investors, once you get on the other side, you're never going to have perfect numbers, right? Like you're going to figure out what the rehab estimate is. I think I need about 55,000. We call it oops money. What do we mean by that? Carl Schiller uses all the time. Hey, I went in there, I did the rehab, I'm starting to do it. I get behind the walls or I go down and there's massive plumbing issues. You can't see that, right? And at the same time, when you do your numbers, you got to make sure there's enough leeway, right? And what I'm going to tell you, every single deal has uncertainty. You're just not sure, right? It's never going to be perfect. So for me, I just hated uncertainty. How many of you guys, like, you have to know everything? Want to mitigate risk. I got to make sure, right? And the key is the margin, right, of safety. Are you using after repair values which are really high, right? Are you using only the best comp in the neighborhood? What about the other four comps? What about all the pre-foreclosures, right? So which one are you using as your comparables makes a big difference, right? Are you picking east to 95, west to 95, right? Even though it's within a mile, right? So we always say the moment of truth, once you make an offer, that makes the deal real. What do I mean by that? When you actually write a contract and send it to a seller, that makes it real. Me telling, Patrice that, hey, I'll buy your house for XYZ on a text doesn't really count. I give a verbal, doesn't count, right? You have to put it under, you have to actually write up a contract. How do you guys feel comfortable today? You find a great deal, your next door neighbor wants to sell their house and you agree on a number. How many of you guys feel comfortable writing a contract and making sure you not only do it correctly, you have all your outs, right? Meaning inspection periods are correct. You're putting in the additional terms. How many of you guys feel comfortable? Kind of want to get an idea of the room, the virtual room, right? You found a great deal. You got the number. Okay. A lot of you. Okay. Right. These are some of the basics you have to know. And I always tell people the fear is not the property, right? What's the fear? It's being wrong. So the great thing about wholesaling is when you actually understand it and you do it correctly, here's the deal. You can never lose money on it. How many guys love that you can never lose money on it, right? Like, give me a yeah, buddy. I was going to tell you, raise your hand. I can't see your hand, but you can raise your hand. Give me a yeah, buddy, right? So that's the power of wholesaling, right? So you got to be able to do it correctly. The challenge I've seen is a lot of people said, look, I've watched these YouTube videos. I feel like I got this education. I know it, right? I know how to analyze properties, and yet they can't even write a contract correctly. That's pretty big. They don't have a title company. They don't realize that you actually have to put a deposit, right? So that's always important. And, I always say people just freeze when it comes to making an offer. They're super nervous. I'm not going to say they're lazy, they're just scared, right? So even with these athletes, same thing. They were scared to make their first offer and write a contract on it, right? So I think it's really important to be out there. I'll give you the quick story of me when I was looking at a deal for the first time, not the first time, in the beginning, right? I was a big analysis paralysis guy. And again, I didn't really even know about off-market properties. I was going after listed properties. I thought one of the properties were, this might be a good deal, wasn't sure. And since I wasn't sure, I didn't really know how to walk a house. I didn't really know the repairs. I was like, let me make this offer. And I was too scared, right? So one of the things I did, it was kind of funny, is I started avoiding writing the offer or analyzing it. Magically, I had to go pick up my dry cleaning. Magically, before you know it, I'm doing these errands. I'm cleaning out my closet. Then I'd go back and look at the property, and it would take me, I'm not even kidding, 3 or 4 days to analyze the property and make an offer, right? Finally called the realtor after 4 days, like, I think, okay, I'm ready to offer whatever the number was, $200,000. And what did the realtor tell me? It was like, hey, Nish, it's already under contract. And instead of me feeling mad, I was relieved. How many of you guys could relate to that? That's you. Put it in the chat. And so one of the things that, over the years, I was telling you about the national program I did. I am in 2 current masterminds. I've spent close to almost $300,000 on masterminds and continuing education. And one of my mentors, Marshall Silver, some of you guys have been at a turning point with us when we hadn't come down. He calls those things, right? Like when you don't really want to do something, he calls them non-confront, right? So what does that mean? So maybe I'm pushing some buttons for you, right? And they're like, oh, that's, I don't want to hear this. I'm being wrong. And somehow you tune out, right? I've been at workshops and the speaker was saying something that kind of hit a nerve that I really didn't want to deal with. Magically, I had to go use the restroom, right? Or magically, I had to go take that call that wasn't that important before. Now I'm taking that call. So these are non-confronts, right? This is all up here. You have to think like as an investor. That's my job as a mentor, is to change that mindset, right? To say that I am an investor. And so the question is, what are you really thinking, right? How many guys, what if I offer too low and insult the seller? That's you. Or the realtor. It could be the seller or the realtor. How many guys have made offers and I just, they're never going to take it. I'm so embarrassed to make this offer. Does that sound like you? Put in the chat. If you make an offer too low, you're worried about looking bad. Put in the chat. All right. Okay. Some of you guys are no. Okay. The other one is, what happens if I offer too much and lose money? I want the deal so bad. I see this end of it usually in the auction world, right? That FOMO, fear of missing out. What do I mean by that? Hey, I saw a bid for this. The timer is going to 300, 305. I really want the house. And it's all that hype, right? So that happens at the auction, or you find out there's a bidding war. This especially happens with realtors, right? It could be a foreclosure. You'll get back an email from them. Hey, Nish, what's your highest and best offer? The difference is when you're working directly with the homeowner, it's different, right? You're not openly competing. They may or may not have other offers. Sometimes they're bluffing, sometimes they're not, right? And sometimes what you don't realize that is investors lose money, right? And what do I mean by that? I always mention this, it's about, 4 to 6 calls a month of real estate investors making offers on houses, or they got something under contract, I should say, or they bought something at auction, and we look through the numbers and they're going to lose money on it. How many guys realize that this is not easy, right? This is a skill set. So again, you're thinking, what happens if I offer too high and lose money, right? That's another one. One of my other ones is, What if I miss something in the numbers? Again, I'm a hardcore number guy, right? I just want to know, like, did I really add everything? Right? Or, did I really take into account these fixtures need permits, right? Or, something that happened during the pandemic was, we couldn't get materials. What do I mean by that? Carl and I are doing a rehab and we're looking for impact windows. So we budgeted the time, right? Was number one. And then he goes, hey, just so you know, impact windows, it's 8 weeks until we can get them. Right. So if you're not adding that time, it's going to cost you money, right? You guys realize when you're doing a rehab, there's usually you're borrowing money. So there's interest, there's taxes, there could be electricity, water. Again, you got to build that all in, right? So a lot of times we're thinking, man, what happens if I mess with the numbers? And then how many guys got this one? What if someone finds out I'm new? Right? I'm brand new when I talk about it on the phone. And what I could tell you is I usually know new people. So I'm gonna give you some best practices. If you're new, right? Don't go to a cash buyer like myself. I get this call probably, I don't know, I'd say maybe 2 to 4 times a month. Is, hey Anish, what's your buy box? What do I mean by that? Buy box meaning what am I looking to buy as a cash buyer? And I know right away they're doing a national program. And my answer is like, well, what do you have? Well, no, Anish, I want to know what you're buying. Are you buying this? And they want to, like, literally they're filling out a form, right? So you could tell right away they're new. Or they're worried, if you're talking to a realtor or on the other side, if they ask them, or the realtor asks them questions and they're going to find out. So what are some of the things that, if you're new, what are some of the things you think sellers may ask or realtors on the other side? Put in chat. What are some of the things? Right? And again, if you haven't done a deal, you probably understand this. Put it in chat, guys. I want to make sure you guys are alive. Unless you guys are all experienced investors in this room, right? In this virtual room, what are some of the things they say? That I'm new, right? I could tell you, I'll give you a couple of them right now that I know right away if it's a property I'm selling and they're calling me to buy my stuff. They're giving me a 1 or 2 page contract. So what I'm going to tell you, generally speaking, if you're investing in Florida, use the 14-page Florida bar as is contract. Right? There's a lot of national gurus. They teach these 1 or 2 page contracts. I get it. In our market, what's a little unique is everyone's got what? A realtor friend, a title company friend, or a lawyer friend, right? So use a FAR as its contract. And sometimes I'll tell them, okay, great. Let me look at your contract. I won't even look at it. It's a 2-pager, put it on a FAR as is, and then we'll talk. And 95% of the time, I don't hear anything, right? That's number one. The other one that's really big also is proof of funds. You're a cash buyer. Let me see your proof of funds, right? So what do I mean by proof of funds? Bank accounts, pre-approvals from hard money lenders, they don't have that, right? So that's number 2, right? That's always important. Number 3 is when they send me an offer and they put a really low deposit or no deposit. Right, $100. I've seen that. I saw someone put $10. I saw people that put 0, like they didn't put a deposit. How many of you guys realize that if you don't put a deposit in Florida, there's no contract? It is not a valid contract. How many of you guys know that? So if you don't put a deposit, it doesn't count, right? So you got to put a deposit. I would tell you, right, like we always put a minimum of $1,000. What I will tell you is, maybe $1,000 is too much. Minimum $500. When I was broke, I could only afford $500. If you can't afford even the $500, I'm just going to tell you, work on work on a job, right? Get that money and have it. The things you're going to need is contracts, right? Florida FAR Bar, as is, we use altastar.com. So if you're not a licensed agent, I'm going to put it in the chat.com, you could actually license the contracts legally. It's about $150 for the year. If your friend gives you a realtor contract and you're not a licensed agent, you could actually be sued. I'm just letting you know. It's copyright infringement. And I've seen attorneys get sued. Kevin Thatcher from Independence Title was a broker. He even talked about that. Like he even got a letter and threatening lawsuit, right? Because of using the contract, right? So again, you're going to want that. You're going to want to have proof of funds, and you're going to want to have software, right? So again, when we're talking about what you're thinking, these are the hidden conversations running in your head, right? When you're new. Am I new? Are they going to know I'm new? Am I missing something? Am I offering too high? Is it going to be an insult to the seller? Right? That's okay. This is not a feelings game, guys. You got to make the offer. It's easier to go up versus down. Have we done both? Absolutely. Right? The first reframe is, right, a low offer is not an insult. Right? The seller may disagree. It doesn't make you wrong. What do I mean by that? I've been investing in real estate for 25 years. And I always joke about it is I've never met or seen the worst house in the neighborhood. What do I mean by that, right? I offer this X amount of money, their house is destroyed, nothing works, roof leaks, and they're going to tell me about, how their house is better than so-and-so's house down the street, right? So again, a low offer is not an insult. And I'm going to tell you some of the things you can do on a lower offer. What do you guys think you could do? Put in the chat. What are some of the things your offer may be lower, and what can make it stronger? Put in the chat, guys. Again, I like it interactive. What are some of the things you could do? Okay, negotiate. How do you negotiate? What do you put actually in that contract? Quick closing time, absolutely, right? I could close fast. So for the people that say I could close in 2 or 3 days, I literally can close 2 or 3 days. I have the cash. Realistically, I can't close in 2 or 3 days because of why? I need a lien search, right? The lien search is depending on the city. It really depends on the city. Like Weston could take 7 to 10 days, right? So every city's not created equal. What I could tell you also, what's happened since the pandemic, some of the cities are not working Fridays or Mondays. They definitely don't work on the weekends, so you got to build that in. Flavio, agree, you need title, right? So again, for me, I have the cash, so that's not a problem. What else besides quick closing time? What's something else you could do to make your offer better, right? And again, your low offer we talk about without logic is an insult. So what are some of the things? Besides that, what else are we talking about? What else can I do? Okay. What about a bigger deposit? Not 1,000. I've done a deal. I offered 220,000. I put $100,000 down. And they had another offer for 280. They took my offer. My best deal, not my best deal, the one that I really pushed, I put 100% down. The offer was like 150 and it was a low offer. I was willing to put $150,000 in escrow. How many of you guys realize it's a low offer and it could be the best deal? Put in chat, right? You guys are starting to see this. If you have those resources, we could do this, right? The other thing that you could also do is inspection days. Inspection days are marketing days. Have I done 0-day inspection? I have. Or no inspection. I'm good. Done it. Right? So these are different ways that you could still have a low offer. It's not an insult. And you're explaining this, right? Why you offer this and it looks stronger. There's no drama on it, right? How many guys are are loving this information. This makes sense for you guys. Put in the chat. I'm only hearing a couple of you guys. Okay. All right, Tony. All right. I know that you're living. Yep. Got it. Okay. Yep. Okay. Just checking. All right. I know you guys are alive. So when you do our 2-day quick start, we go over all this stuff. Right. So again, yeah, there could be tax consequences, right? And some of that could be just it's a different kind of offer. It's not a cash offer. It could be a creative financing offer, right? Well, we always say there's a few things that matter, right? It's the purchase price versus the value, right? You got to build in margin of safety. Yeah, you got to have a solid exit strategy, right? And then the big thing is you got to make sure there's buyer demand and liquidity if you're looking to wholesale it, or you're trying to fix it and fix and flip. You got to make sure the numbers make sense, right? That it's not oversaturated. Some of the challenges that you might say, hey, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to sell it to a short-term rental person, and now there's too many in that market. So you got to make sure you got that right. Right. So the question when it comes to margin safety, if things go wrong, am I still protected? Right? So what do I mean by that? Right? The rehab costs are higher than I thought. Right? It could be materials. The market softens. Right? If you've been working on rehab for a year, right? It should only took 4 months and now it's a year. Guess what? You're probably not getting the same prices. Again, super important. And again, that goes right into it takes longer to sell. So a good deal has room for mistakes. What do I mean by that? Room for mistakes, right? You be conservative on your ARV, what you could sell it for. Be conservative on your timeline. I think it's going to take 3 months for the rehab, but you know what? City Hollywood takes longer for permits, right? So instead of 3 months, you might want to add another 2 months. You might want to add another month just for the time it takes to sell, right? Again, you got to build this in and make sure the big one that we talk about this again when you do the 2-day quick start is you guys are only looking at comparables and you're not looking at the active comparables. What's for sale, right? Just because something closed for XYZ for 400,000 maybe 2 weeks ago, and at the same time, there might be houses for sale for 380. And then the question becomes exit strategy. If I buy this property, can I what? Wholesale it, right? Depending on your math. Am I going to fix and flip it? Am I going to rent it? The idea is the more exit strategies you have, it's going to mitigate risk. What happens, I'm using my own money or I'm using traditional financing and I can't wholesale it anymore, right? If you can't wholesale, you can get out, get out of the contract. You can renegotiate. Imagine you're in a fix and flip. You finally fix the house looks beautiful, and you can't really sell it what you thought. Can you rent it out? Is it still cash flowing, right? Can you sell it on terms, seller financing, right? These are all important questions. So the more strategies you have, it's less risk for you guys, right? And again, as we talked about on the wholesaling side, if you actually do it correctly, there's no risk. And what we tell people, the opportunity is right now. When market shifts, it's new opportunities, guys. How many of you guys believe that this is the time to be in real estate investing? Put in the chat, give me a yeah, buddy. Yeah, this is the time. Okay. Right. So, and you guys realize that off-market deals, generally speaking, are bigger profits. The whole job of a realtor is to get the highest price, ideally. Right. So, the end, you got to convince the realtor as the spokesperson for the seller. A lot of realtors don't understand creative financing, right? So what do you mean lease options, seller financing, sub two? And the idea with creative financing, if that's in your bucket, is it's another strategy. And I've seen deals with no money out of pocket. How many of you guys love doing deals with no money out of your pocket? Give me a yeah, buddy. And so one of the things is that on our 2-day quick start, we actually do a creative financing section in there, right? So we're going to show you the other alternatives versus just the cash offer. And again, some of you guys said why you're doing this is real estate will equate to generational wealth and financial freedom. You guys, I saw a few guys talk about that. So again, the opportunity is right now, guys. Right? I love that a lot of you guys are seeing that. MLS, right? Multiple listed service deals versus off market. And the way we're finding these off market deals, driving for dollars, direct mail. Direct mail can be expensive and it's a lot more consistent, just so you guys know. Cold calling is a little bit tough because those are cold leads versus warm leads. And then the online lead generation, the pay per clicks. All I could tell you in our market, it's really expensive. There's a lot of big players in it. We were paying at one point almost $500 a lead, right? So we're spending almost $10,000 a month. The challenge was we're doing deals, and what I was seeing was, yeah, we're doing deals, and at the same time, all the money was going out to marketing. So we were making very, very limited amount of money. So again, then we're doing more direct mail, obviously driving for dollars, building out an acquisition team, right? So the off market, right, gives a lot more flexibility and profit, right? Versus the MLS, right? You can negotiate terms, not just the price. And the key is you could close directly with a seller. What I mean by that, I've seen so many sellers that just don't like realtors. Again, I told you I'm a licensed agent. They don't think realtors should make the money just for listing their house. They refuse to, thinking that they're handing out 10,000, 12,000 in commissions on one side. So it's something, that we've seen a lot. Also, a lot of realtors will tell people like, hey, you got to fix this, you got to fix that, and they don't have the money, right? Again, you could structure creative deals, novation, seller carryback, sub to, lease options. This is because you're dealing with the seller directly. It is more difficult if you don't understand how to do these, right? If you're new to them, you can't stumble on it. And the challenge is even if you're good at it like me, is to convince a realtor that you're going to put 0% down, the seller's going to hold it, and all they're worried about is, well, how do I get paid? Right? So sometimes that becomes a challenge too, right? So to analyze deals quickly, our 75% rule. So we're going to take the after repair value, right? And I'll give you a quick formula on that, right? Is you're going to take the after repair value times it by 0.75, and then you're going to subtract the repair costs, right? For example, $400,000 offer times 0.75 minus repair costs. Our maximal allowable offer, the max price we want to be is at $250, right? Again, this is just a quick offer. Would I pay $260? Yeah, probably, right? I might just assign a contract. Depends on the deal, right? So again, you got to know repair costs. So when you do the 2-day quick start, Carl Shuley and I were going to go over all the repair costs. That July 11th in-person event, we're going to do the same thing, right? So you got to know what your repair cost is, and you got to understand after repair value. So when you do the 2-day quick start, we're going to go through these topics with real deals all the way through, right? So ARV, right? What after repair value, right? What will it be worth fixed, right? And again, you're going to do this with comparables. The repairs, what must be corrected? Does it need a new roof? Yes, you're going to find out when the lifespan is less than 5 years, we're going to need a new roof. Why? Why do you guys think? If it's less than 5 years, why would we have to change a roof if we're rehabbing? Even though there's no leaks. Put in chat. What do you guys think? Right? And then you got to figure out what your profit margin is. If I do this, right? How much do I want to make? Yep, Gwen, it's the insurance. 100%. Remember, if you're selling retail, homeowner gets a loan, they need insurance. So many insurance companies will not insure if it's less than 5 years. So you just got to make sure when it comes to it, right? And then you always have to know about your risks. What happens if things go wrong, right? So that equals your smart offer. We basically say money is math, right? Emotion gets quieter when the math gets cleaner, right? You're just looking at the numbers. It's not what you feel. if the number's weak, the whole offer gets weak, just so you guys know, right? We want to make sure what other properties look like, the repairs, profit, all this stuff makes a big difference. These are the four pillars when you're looking at a deal. I always say ARV is not a wish, right? Don't ask what do I want it to be worth, right? I hope it works out and the house becomes, when I fix it up, I hope I get $400,000 because my house is better, right? Then you got to ask, what have buyers already paid for similar homes, right? You're doing those comparables, right? Don't think you're going to outperform the market. Again, you're not building customized spec homes. It's super important. And then I always tell people ARV is evidence, right? Optimism is not a cop, right? The market's going to get better. So have investors, I know they did a terrible job on the rehab, meaning their timeline. They're thinking it's 3 or 4 months, and it took 11 months. And guess what? They actually made more money. Why? The reason the market went up. The challenge is, well, what do you do when the market goes down or softens? So I know, as I mentioned, people did a full rehab and they either lost money or made no money. Imagine you did a rehab, you put all this money and time into 6, 7, 8 months, and you made zero money. Happens all the time, guys. So don't think that, hey, the market's going to turn around. It may turn around, it might not be on your timeline, right? And I always tell people the repairs are the beginner's chop, right? Most newbies, including me when I first started, they underestimate repairs. So when you do our 2-day quick start, we're going to give you a property. You're going to work with a team and we're going to actually talk about the repairs. Super important. What the brackets are. Is it light, medium, heavy? What do I mean by that? If it's heavy, am I adding additions? Is it fire damage? Is it how many permits? Depends on the city. And one of the things is when you don't know, you got to slow down and verify. What do I mean by that? You're going to want to check permits. You're going to want to call code enforcement if there's issues going on. You're going to want to know the liens. These are all important factors that a lot of beginners miss out, right? So I always tell, here's the other big thing that cracks me up. We always say profit is not greed, right? And if there's no profit in a deal, you literally bought yourself a job. And it's okay to make profit, right? Especially when you're fixing other people's problems, getting them out of foreclosure, you're fixing the liens, the violations, you're paying for their probate, right? I always say profit protects you from being perfect. You make some money, maybe it's not exactly what you wanted to make, and you still do well. And I always say the goal is not to win the contract, the goal is to win the deal, right? Meaning, yeah, just because you got under contract, it doesn't mean it's a deal. Seen a ton of people, I look at KPIs, and people are like, man, I got 20 deals under contract. Well, how many did you actually close? Right? So some of the other risks, right? Holding time, right? You're taking way longer than you thought. That could add up. Your market shift, it changed. Permit delays, this is really big, depending on the city. Carl Shilley will tell you he's not a big fan of the city of Hollywood. The delays are tough from roof permits. They just move way slow. The unknown repairs, right? You're trying to buy something on auction and you look at it and you realize when you bought it after auction, there's black mold, right? And then the other big thing is, not having a true lender or a real buyer. And there may be title issues, right? There might be liens and violations. We always say the same thing. I kind of gave you an example. The ARV is 400,000, repairs are 60,000. You want to make sure there's a cushion, right? So even the formula I gave you, I'd probably go up to 280 because I'm making sure I have an extra 20,000 in there in case something happens. What we always talk about, there's the low offer versus the smart offer. Right? The low offer, when you look at properties, I just want a deal. And your mind saying that it's like super random and it's emotional and it's easy to reject, right? For the seller. The smart offer, what do we mean by that? We're showing comparables. We're using RIA facts. We're showing all the pre-foreclosures in the area, right? The professional offer has all that stuff. We make the offers quick. We're certain. We have an inspection report, and we tell them, the seller, what's the next step, right? You guys loving this or what? Put in the chat. You guys understanding? And so this is really big too, is why do sellers not choose the highest offer? Everyone knows thinks it's the highest offer. It's speed. Got the offer quick, we could close quick, right? It's certain. I got proof of funds. I get the cash really sitting there. It's convenient. What do I mean by that? It's a probate. You can leave whatever you want in there. They're out-of-state owners. The house is destroyed. Really, I don't have to deal with anything. You could do a mail away, right? They trust you because you've been in business. I've been in business for over 25 years. I've done tons of deals in our market. I'm local, right? And the terms are easy, right? There are additional terms on a FAR bar. I've seen it. I've seen people put almost 20, 30, 40 lines, and people get confused, right? It's just too much for people. And then, how to make offers, we talk about without being pushy. Ask questions before giving numbers. What do I mean by that? What does your house look like if you're on the phone? New roof, is it updated? Explain the math. This is why I'm offering this, because I am for profit. I can't buy your house, it needs all these repairs. Seller options, right? I could talk about creative financing. And then last thing is let the offer stand without chasing approval. Let it sit. Don't just jump right back. Okay, you said 300,000. I'm at 250. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take 298, right? And so one of the things is when you apply pressure to homeowners, you sound super needy, right? When you're certain, you're telling them how this works. This is why I'm offering all this stuff, right? Some of the other big mistakes that we've seen, right? You fall in love with the property. It's not about the property. It's about the numbers, right? Again, you're changing the math, so your numbers make sense. You're ignoring all the repairs, right? You're making only one offer versus you got to make multiple offers on multiple properties, right? And you're confusing activity with commitment. So I think that's always really important, right? And I always tell people the real skill, it's not making one perfect offer. The skill is making consistent, smart offers. Are you making 10 offers? Are you making 20 offers, right? You got to consistently make offers out there. And I always tell people the same thing. Information's not enough. You guys don't need any more videos, right? You need a plan. You need accountability. You need deal review, scripts, funding paths, a team. Literally, we have everything you need at BPM RIA. And that's why I created the quick start too, right? The real problem is not knowledge, right? Is what I tell everyone, right? You're stuck because you don't know. It's not, you're stuck. You're not stuck because you don't know enough. It's because of your hesitation. And hesitation is expensive. You're in the analyzing world. So this silent killer is me, right? When I first started, the analysis paralysis, the fear of losing money, the fear of looking dumb, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, right? What happens if the market shifts? And then what happens if I tell people I'm a real estate investor and I get it wrong, right? So everyone's going to say, hey, you did this, and that's what happened, right? So how many guys are getting a lot of value today? Put in the chat. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you some of the deals we've done with our students, right? So I'm just going to kind of run through these. This was a regular deal, pre-foreclosure with equity. And our student Violet knocked on their door, used RIAFax to find the deal, and was able to assign it to one of our 10,000 plus cash buyers for $35,000 as an assignment fee. Again, she only locked it up for $1,000, $35,000 assignment fee, right? So this was one of our deals with Sandra, one of our elite students, right? It looked great on the outside until you went on the inside. All this black mold. We sold it as is, 55 and over neighborhood. We netted $61,000. Again, the numbers I'm showing you, the student makes 50% of the money, guys. So she made over 30 grand, not using any of her money. This is one of our deals with Mario. There were 8 heirs. There were 7 that wanted to sell. We bought 7 portions of this deal. This was a little bit more complicated. And again, we could do complicated deals. And we bought the last portion a year later. It was a partial sale. The quick end of it was the judge, again, had to go to court and forced him to sell at a certain price. So that was a great deal. We are going to rehab it, and instead we just wholesaled it. We made $70,000. Mario made $35,000 on this deal. This was a deal for Davidson, full-time nurse, and this deal we actually evicted one of the tenants. The landlord was still living there. We cleaned it up, had over $300,000 in liens and violations. We went in front of the magistrate. We got it down to $15,000. The homeowner paid $7,500. We sold this to one of our iBuyers. This was actually Opendoor, and we made a $98,000 net profit. Again, my numbers are net, right? So the student made $49,000. This was one of Julio's deal. 2 probates we had to do. I paid for the probate. I would have never done this deal when I first started in real estate. This has been way too complicated for me. Cleaned it up. Again, Julio works full time, knocking on doors. Drove past the house. We actually, since no one was living in there, what we did was we skip traced it, found the person. Again, paid for a double probate, cleaned up the house. And this was a pretty good wholesale deal, $110,000. Julio put $55,000 in his pocket. This was another one of Julio's deals. He's been doing these hoarder deals. The seller wanted over $750,000, and they owed about $80,000 on the mortgages. One of the mortgages was released, so they actually only owed $20,000. And the seller's son, really, what was happening was they wanted to buy a house in Port St. Lucie, Melbourne area for $250,000. We made sure we netted that money. We took care of all the liens and violations from $300,000 plus liens, got it down to $3, paid a hard cost of another $1,600. Liens and violations, $1,700, 16 dumpsters. Again, our mentor, Harry Diamond, went with our student in front of the magistrate, and this was a pretty good deal where we made $138,000 wholesale profit. Again, Julio made over $65,000 on this deal. This was one of those deals with the big orange sticker, unsafe structure. What that meant was there's no water in the house. Again, we did this deal. We didn't fix it up. This was another wholesale profit of $111,000. So again, the real money is fixing problems, not having that fear, guys. And so I'm going to play a quick video what one of our former students, Antonio Lopez, had to say after joining our BPM RIA program.
Hi, everybody. My name is Antonio Lopez. My company name is Antlop Investment Properties. And before I met Anish Dave and joined the BPM RIA mentoring, I had just a basic idea of what I needed to do in real estate investing. After I joined, aside from learning pretty much everything that was required to learn about real estate investing and to become successful, one of the biggest benefits that I received was the amazing network of people that were part of the club. Everything that you can think of, everything that you need in order to be successful in real estate investing, you can find it here at the BPM RIA. So thank you so much, BPM and Anish, for everything. I really appreciate it. I owe you guys a ton. And for you guys watching this, I highly encourage you to check out BPM RIA. It's the first place you need to, where you want to start your real estate investing journey. So.
Yeah, and Antonio went from having no real estate experience to he does this full time, and he's a short-term rental expert and loves it. And it's been amazing to watch his growth. It's been absolutely phenomenal. This was another one of the deals of reverse mortgage short sale that Harry and Victoria did. They're going to walk away from the house. We bought it for $171,000. This was our record at the time, and we wholesaled it. I have a 10,000 plus cash buyer. They netted $179,000 on this deal. This was a house that we rehabbed, good bones on it. This was an easy rehab. You can see we cleaned it up. You're going to start seeing the same stuff of staging, $53,000 rehab on this one. And what I could tell you is when you're an elite student, I put up the money for the rehab too. How many of you guys, put in the chat, are you guys looking to be rehabbers? You're looking to be wholesalers, or you're looking to hold on to property? Which is your favorite one? What's going to fit your motto right now? Kind of curious on the chat. And we show you how to do all three of those, guys. So again, you got to understand the numbers. Okay. Some of you guys are buy it and hold, some of you are wholesale. Okay. Yep. Okay. The answer is it could be both. The point is, if you learn how to find deals, you could cherry pick the ones you want to keep. Right? So we do that all the time. This was another house, great bones, short sale. This is one of Latania's deals. She is an elite student. We cleaned it up. You're starting to see the same staging company. The colors are the same. This was a pretty nice profit with $67,000. We could have wholesaled it, made about $5,000. Instead, we rehabbed it. And from beginning to end, 118 days because it was an FHA buyer. Again, the student had zero money in the deal, guys. So she made $34,000 on this deal. And this is what one of our other students had to say after being in our program.
My name is Kevin Tyree. My company name is, I work with BPM REIA. Before joining BPM REIA, my previous career, I worked at the Port of Miami for 23 years, and I also was a buy and hold investor. After joining BPM REIA, I've learned how to wholesale, short sales, work with probate properties, and things of that nature. Join BPM. Thanks, Anish.
Yep. So Kevin is a buy and hold investor. He's also a realtor. And he was just telling me at Anish, there's not great deals on the MLS. So his first deal was over $90,000 wholesale deal, guys. So what we're seeing a lot of times, one deal is actually paying for their program. This is another house that we rehabbed. You can see same kind of colors. We're not reinventing the wheel. This deal was pretty good. This was another one of Latania's deal, $167,000 profit. It took from the day under contract to the day we sold it. So she made $83,000 without using any of her own money. How many guys put in the chat if you did one deal like this might change your year, right? You might say, real estate investing is pretty fun, right? So this is one of Marcella's deal. She's one of our elite students. We looked at rehabbing. The reason we got this deal was A, she spoke Spanish, and the homeowner needed more time, right? We teach you to listen to what the homeowners need. So it wasn't about closing fast. It was about closing in 60 or 90 days. While she took care of some stuff. Again, we're going to rehab the house, and instead we just wholesaled it, $102,000. So she made $51,000 on this deal. One of the things is that once you start learning how to do deals, we want you to keep it legally. What do I mean by that? Is to pay your fair share of taxes. So Harry and Victoria, they're going to put this in their LLC, and guess what? They cleaned it out, and I said, put in your Roth IRA. And they made $145,000 tax-free. So when you're in our program, we teach you all these things, right, guys? Not only to make money, we teach you this in the quick start also. So it's important to make money, and then it's also important to keep it legally, right? You don't want to lose a ton of money to taxes. This is another deal that the homeowner thought it'd be a teardown. We bought this house for $150,000. Renegotiated, got a $25,000 discount. We bought it for $125,000. Look at this. We wholesaled it for $230,000, profit of $235,000. And then our record is still Harry and Victoria's deal, 2 duplexes. Again, they put it in a Roth IRA, $265,000 tax free. I am looking for the next student to beat this deal, guys. I want to show you your deal. When you're in our program, I want you to get the big deal and say, hey, this is your number, right? Hey, Patrice, this is your $300,000 deal, right? And you're going to buy me dinner after you do $300,000. Okay, right? $255,000 tax free on the same $1,000. That's $400,000 tax free again. And so I'm going to play a quick video of Nicole, who did our quick start. And again, she works full time. And this is what she had to say.
Hi, my name's Nicole Bergatti. I'm with Bergatti Properties, and I'm currently a full-time employee of CBRE. I'm events and meeting coordinator. And prior to starting the 2-day quick start course, I've always wanted to do real estate. I've always been interested in flipping homes and all that good stuff. And I knew Anish, and I knew that this is what he did. And he's so smart, and he knows real estate so well. And so I went ahead and just took the course, and I am so glad I did, because a couple months later, we ended up closing a deal that was worth $42,000. And that's great money. And now I have a few more deals in the pipeline, and I'm super excited about my investing future. And that wouldn't have been possible without Anish and his team. And I 100% recommend that you take this course, get started, and do it.
Yeah, as you're seeing, a lot of our students are working full time and they're still doing deals. So after you do the quick start, right, we're going to push you to do our 7-day offer challenge. Analyze 10 properties, make 3 written offers. Let's review what your rejected offers and pay attention why they didn't take your offer, right? And then the idea is you want that feedback before you start changing your formula. It's all about KPIs. What do I mean that? Key performance indicators. How many sellers, how many offers are you making? Super important. So that's one of the challenges we're going to have after you do the 7-day quick start. Some of you guys, I promised you, are interested in our coaching program where I put 100% of the money for the deals. Vina's going to put in a chat to how to book a discovery call. Our core program is for 6 months. Again, I put up all the money for the deals. I pay for software while you're in the program. The 2-day quick starts also included, and it's wholesaling. The elite program, which has been the more popular one, it's buy one, get one free. What do I mean that? If you have a true business partner or spouse, it's 2 for 1 on that program. The price, the retail price is $38,997 for the elite. The core program is $19,997. The elite program is wholesaling and rehabbing. Again, I'm going to pay for the software, quick starts, a business in a box. That's all in there. We have 2 more spots for June left. And I'm just letting you guys know is that we will be raising our prices for our coaching program. I have not raised the prices in 8 years. And I don't know anyone else that actually puts up the money for the deals, guys. Our business model is to take less students and get you to perform. You have unlimited access to your mentors. You have access to me. You actually have my private cell phone number. And I am local, guys, right? As I mentioned, the 2-day quick start is August 1st and 2nd. That's also included, where it's a 100% money back guarantee. What do I mean? After the first day, and you say, hey, it's not for me, and you've been on all day, I will 100% give you your money back, right? So member pricing, it's $695. I am taking $100 off as long as you book before July, right? And it's $100 off for non-member, same thing. Our membership is $295. I saw a lot of you guys put on the poll, you want to go ahead and book it. One of the things I'm going to do also, like Vita doesn't know this, and I'm going to do this also, is for the first 3 people that buy the quick start, right? We have our in-person July 11th event with Carl Shealy, $149 for members, $100, $199 for non-members. I'm going to take $100 off if you want to come to that event. And it's only for 3 people. That's it. I reward people that take action, right? There's something about it. Some of you guys, and I don't want you to share this, some of you guys came to the Saturday event that I just threw, and I did something that I've never done. So a lot of people registered, only half of the people showed up. And that day I felt extra good, and they got a massive gift that I've never done in 14 years. So again, you're going to want to show up. This is our third-party funding, right? Some of you guys are saying, I'm interested in the mentoring, right? I'm ready to do this now versus the quick start. You do not have to do the quick start to be in our mentoring program, right? So go ahead and take out your phone, scan this, get approved, see if it works for you, book a discovery call. I know Vina put that in. And again, for the first 3 people that buy the quick start, I'm going to take $100 off on the July 11th. So you get the $100 for buying before July 1st, and you get $100 for off on the in-person event. And that's only for 3 people, guys. That's it, right? And then lastly, as I mentioned, I do 100% money back guarantee in there. Bina, again, put the information in the chat. You can always email us if you have any questions, book a discovery call, hit the QR code, all the above. So one person, right? We do have a winner right now for our membership. And our lucky winner, so if you already have a membership, we'll just extend it another year. And since you won the membership, you also have access of the member pricing of $6.95. And you'll get $100 off. So it's $5.95, and you'll get $100 off on our July 11th events. And that's you, Albert Silva. So Albert, I just want to let you know you're our lucky winner. You got paid to hang out and learned a lot of great stuff. And you got, gosh, the $295 plus another almost $500 worth of bonuses, guys. So again, it's about taking action. It is almost July, right? We're already past halfway through the year. And a lot of you guys keep telling me I want to be in real estate, and it's the time now, right? I like only working with people that take action. I know some of you guys have already done the quick start. It's awesome on that end of it, and you're just gonna love it. Let me know if you already took the quick start and you want to do it again. I'll have different kind of pricing for you guys. Some of our students, you guys already know what I'm doing for you guys from our Facebook portal. So again, I want to Vina, can you put in the chat what our next event is? I don't know if I'm not sure if I have a webinar next Tuesday coming up. I know our in-person event is July 8th. You're going to want to come in down at Nova University and network, learn something. And then July 11th is our full one-day workshop. So that's going to be fun too. So I want to thank you guys is number one for attending our webinar. And it's always great to see you guys as usual. And again, you got to join our mentoring program, join the Quick Start, start changing that life. And I love you guys, and I'll see you guys at our next event. Talk to you guys soon. The replays will be up by tomorrow. Make sure you give us a 5-star Google review, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.